So this is part 4 of the oil pressure exploration. This cavity is where the oil pressure solenoid goes. So I'm going to explain how the oil pressure solenoid works. So if you look in this cavity, it's in the front right of the engine, you'll see 3 openings there. Right at the back is a vent hole that sends oil all the way to the oil pan. So it doesn't actually connect to anything, it just flows right back into the pan. The next hole at the bottom goes to the oil pump to power the pivot and reduce the oil pump capacity. And the hole to the right goes to the main oil rail. So you've essentially got 3 holes there which can be connected in 2 ways. So let's look at the solenoid itself. So the solenoid has 3 areas. So there's this area here, there's this area here, and there's this area here. And there's a piston. Now by default, the piston has got a spring which keeps it pushed back. So when this thing is turned off, the piston is back, and what actually happens is that this area and this area are connected together inside the center core. And that means that the middle and the back oil tubes are connected. So this allows oil to flow from the oil pump pivot and vent it back into the pan. So by default, the oil pump pivot is not actuated by the solenoid. This is the fail-safe mechanism of the solenoid. That and that is connected. Now when this oil pump is activated, the piston depresses in this direction, and then this and this are connected, and this is shut off. Now this is the frontmost oil tube which comes from the main oil rail. So oil gets pumped from here to here, and oil flows into the pivot and reduces the oil flow rate in the pump. So this essentially makes oil flow in the opposite direction. So by default, oil flows out of here to here, and when this thing is actuated, it flows from here into here. So that's how the oil solenoid works. So there's this part, which is a blind plug for the N52, and this part can actually be used to get rid of the solenoid. And if you look closely at this part, you can see exactly what it's going to do. So there's the part number. So when that thing goes in, it's going to block off that first hole and stop oil ever coming out of the main oil rail. And then it's going to connect those last 2 holes together so that any oil that's inside the pivot of the oil pump can flow out and be vented back into the pan. Anyway, that should explain that. Thanks for watching. Updates to come later.